onto Warlock. Almost done. Okay. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma. So now you can choose what you want your ability to be. Part of the mage group. Let's check. Another important thing. Sorcerers now have as close to standard spell slots. They don't have magic anymore. They have spellcasting. Cantrips look the same. Spells prepared look the same, essentially. Oh, it's prepared spells instead of spells known. And invocations are increased by 1 at the end. Okay. Main updates. Medium armor. Pact Boon moved to 3rd. Pact Magic is replaced by spellcasting. Eldritch Invocation's higher. Mystic Arcanum is at a lower level. Contract Patron is a new feature. Hexmaster, new feature. Okay. Hit points is a D8. That's the same. Wisdom and Charisma. Yep. Arcana, Deception, History, Nature. History, Intimidation, Investigation. Nature, Religion is the same. Simple weapons, light armor, and medium armor. And no tools. Okay. Pact Boon, which was previously a 3rd level feature. Now first, so they kind of switched the subclass, the Otherworldly Patron and Pact Boon, which I think is for the better. You have formed a pact with an otherworldly entity that has bestowed magical powers upon you. You also have the Eldritch Blast and Hex spells prepared, and you choose one of the following boons: Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Chain, or Pact of the Tome, each of which is detailed below. You determine the identity of the entity and choose its plane of existence, such as Feywild, Shadowfell, or an outer plane. Each boon gives you a choice for the spellcasting ability used by your spellcasting feature, and it gives you a pact spell that you always have prepared. So if you wanted Intelligence to be your ability, you would do Chain or Tome. If you wanted Wisdom, Blade or Tome. If you wanted Charisma, Blade or Chain. Very interesting. Kind of like the way they do that. And then the spells we were seeing earlier, Pact Weapon, Pact Familiar, Book of Shadows, are automatically given to you. Okay. Spellcasting, I'm just going to skim. It is prepared spells now. Alright, Eldritch Invocations. In your study of occult lore, you have unearthed Eldritch Invocations, fragments of forbidden knowledge that imbue you with an abiding magical ability or other lessons. You gain 2 Eldritch Invocations of your choice from the Eldritch Invocation Options section later in this class description. You can't pick the same invocation more than once unless an invocation description says otherwise. If an invocation has a prerequisite, you must meet it to learn the invocation. You can learn the invocation at the same time that you meet its prerequisite. For example, if an invocation requires you to be 5th level Warlock, you can select the invocation when you reach 5th level. When you gain certain Warlock levels, you gain more invocations of your choice, as shown in the invocation column of the Warlock table. Yep. Additionally, whenever you gain a Warlock level, you can choose one of the invocations you know and replace it with another. So flexibility seems to be a big thing they're leaning towards, where you can constantly change out what you're using. Which I think is somewhat beneficial, because if you didn't know what you were getting into, let's say you prepared all underwater spells and invocations, and like you were prepared to be underwater, and then nope, you're not underwater anymore. All of those are useless, so not being able to change those could be detrimental. You can choose, replacement, or if the invocation system is missing. Okay, so you could also change the choice. Subclass feature, and the Fiend is in this one. Then a Fiend, Eldritch Invocation, subclass. It doesn't look like there's that many abilities, simply because you're getting feats, Eldritch Invocations, or a subclass feature. But there is, at 11th level, Contact Patron. In your past, you have usually contacted your patron through intermediaries. Now you communicate directly. You always have the Contact Other Plane spell prepared. With this feature, you can cast a spell without expending a spell slot to contact your patron, and you automatically see a spell saving throw. Okay, it's just a way to talk to your patron, which is, that's only really important if your campaign or game is centered in some way around your patron. If you've had almost no role play with your patron and it doesn't really matter who it is, that's not super great. Eldritch Invocation feat. Eldritch Invocation. Hex Master. You have mastered the dread application of Hex, allowing you to cast the Hex spell without expending a spell slot. Okay. Pretty simple, but nice. Okay. Invocations options. I am not going through the updates. I am just going to read them and be comparing them on the left. Soon as I can. Okay. Agonizing Blast. Whenever you cast Eldritch Blast, you can add your spellcasting ability modifier to the spell's damage rolls. Same thing. Armor of Shadows. You can cast Mage Armor on yourself without expending a spell slot or using material components. Same thing. Ascendant Step. 9th level Warlock or higher. You can cast Levitate on yourself without expending a spell slot or using material components. Same thing. Beast Speech. You can cast Speak with Animals without expending a spell slot. Same thing. Devil's Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120. Same thing. Eldritch Sight. You can cast Detect Magic without expending a spell slot. Same. Eldritch Spear. Range is 300, sorry. Eyes of the Rune Keeper. You can read all writing. This ability doesn't decode secret messages in text. You read the surface meaning and must rely on other capabilities to... Okay. Favor of the Chain Master. So I would assume this is kind of replacing Chains of Karsari. So, 9th level Warlock or higher, Pact of the Chains feature. Your bond with the familiar summoned by your Pact Familiar spell grows more powerful. Whenever the familiar hits with its Eldritch Strike, the target experiences the following effect associated with the familiar's creature type. Okay. Aberration, Slowing Slime. Target speed is reduced by 15 feet until the end of your next turn, and during that time, it can't dash or disengage. Celestial, Guiding Light. The next attack roll against the target before the end of your next turn has advantage, and if the target has the invisible condition, it is suppressed. That's good. Draconic Might. If the target is medium or smaller, it has the prone condition. That's very nice. Beguiling Sting. The target has the charmed condition until the end of your next turn and receives both you and the familiar as the charmer. Okay. Unearthly Toxin. The target has the poisoning condition until the end of your next turn. Not great. Not at least compared to the others, but poison could be useful, I suppose. Whispers of the Grave. The target has the frightened condition until the end of your next turn. You choose whether the target is frightened of you or the familiar. Again, frightened and poisoned are the best conditions. Prone's pretty good. Everything else is pretty good. Alright. Seems to be a whole new feature, and I kind of like that feature overall. Fiendish Vigor. You can cast False Ice on yourself without spending a spell slot or material components. Same thing. This one does not specify first level anymore. This on the originally is specified first level, but I would assume it means first level. Gaze of Two Minds. You can use a bonus action instead of an action to touch a willing humanoid and perceive through its senses until the end of your next turn. As long as the creature is on the same plane of existence as you, you can use a bonus action on subsequent turns to maintain the connection, extending the duration until the end of your next turn. While perceiving through the other creature's senses, you benefit from any special senses possessed by that creature. You can cast spells as if you were in your space or the other creature's space. That got more powerful. Does it have 5th level now? So it does have a prerequisite, which makes sense. But that did get more powerful. Gift of the Protectors. So this is the Pact of the Tome feature. A new page appears in your Book of Shadows when you conjure it. With your permission, a creature can use its action to write its name on that page, which can contain a number of names equal to your proficiency bonus. When any creature whose name is on the page is reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, the creature magically drops its 1 hit point instead. Once this magic is triggered, no creature can benefit from it until you finish a long rest. And you can erase. That was something in here. I could be wrong, but I felt like that was... I'm trying to find it in the original. Maybe it was in a different... Maybe it was in Tasha's or Xanathar's or something. But that seems familiar. Hexer. When you cast Hex, the range is 600 feet. And you have advantage on any Constitution saving throw you make to contain. Okay. 600 feet seems a little excessive, but sure. Lessons of the first one. You have received knowledge from an elder entity in the multiverse, allowing you to gain 1 feat of your choice. Ooh. such as skilled, that is available to first level characters and that lacks prerequisites. Still powerful. Life Drinker, which is now 9th level for Pact of the Blade. Still Pact of the Blade. When you hit a creature with your weapon, Pact weapon, the creature takes an extra 1d6 necrotic damage. And you regain, to kind of suck the life out. Whereas previously it just did a little extra damage. The die is now added. Mask of Many Faces, which is arguably one of the better ones to take. Same thing. Masters of Myriad Forms. Alter Self, 15th level, yep. Misty Visions. Silent with that. Yep, same thing. Mystic Arcanum. Okay, here's where it gets interesting. Your exploration, because Mystic Arcanum used to be the ability that allowed warlocks to gain 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spells. But now it is a Eldritch Invocation. Your explorations of the arcane have unlocked magic within you. Choose one spell from the arcane spell list that has a level for which you qualify, as shown in the Mystic Arcanum table. Look for your warlock level on the table to see the maximum level that your spell can have. You can cast the chosen spell once without expending a spell slot, and you must finish a long rest before you can do again. You can take it more than once, but it must be a different level. Interesting. I honestly don't know if I would take it. It could be useful, but you're only gaining overall one more invocation from 2023 to 2014. Or other way around, but that's, I don't know if I'd choose this. Maybe once. One with the Shadows, 5th level. When you're in an area of dim light or darkness, and you use an action to have an invisible condition until... Yep. Seems to be about the same. 9th level, cast Jump. Yep. Repelling Blast. Same thing. Except it said straight line previously. So I guess if you were under them, it would push them up, which is kind of weird, but now it just says horizontally. Vision of Distant Realm. 15th level or higher, cast Arcane Eye, same thing. Whispers of the Grave, 9th level, Speak with Dead, and then Witch Sight. Now you just get True Sight. Still 15th level, but instead of, it was basically True Sight before. Okay. Fiend Patron, oh boy. You always have certain spells ready when you reach a warlock level specified in the Fiend table. You thereafter always have a listed spells prepared. Free casting. You can cast one of your prepared spells from this feature without expending a spell slot. You must finish a long rest. Okay, so you get a free one of these. Burning Hands command. That's new. Oh. Okay, never mind. The Fiend spells have changed significantly. New is Scorching Ray, Suggestion, Fear, Blight, and Insect Plague. It used to be kind of fire-centric, but now it's just kind of overall fiendish. Alright, Dark One's Blessing. When you reduce an enemy to 0 hit points, or an enemy drops to 0 hit points within 5 feet of you, you can temporary hit points. So it used to be just when you drop them to 0, but now it's if they're also within 5 feet of you, which don't know how much you'll be doing unless you're Pact of the Blade, but... Dark One's Own Luck. You can call on your Fiendish Patron to alter fate in your favor. When you make an ability check or saving throw, you can use this feature to add a d10 to your roll. You can do so after seeing what the initial roll is, number of times equal to your spellcasting. So you can use it more times now. Spell looks about the same. Fiendish Resilience. Channeling the preternatural resilience of Fiend, you can choose one damage type other than Force. Gain resistance. Seems odd that they say no force, but okay. Looks to be about the same otherwise. Hurl Through Hell. When you hit a creature with an attack roll, you can use this feature to instantly transport the target through the lower planes. The creature disappears and hurls through a nightmare landscape. I forgot about this ability. Just in the regular 2014 Player's Handbook. At the end of your next turn, the target returns to a space it previously occupied or the nearest unoccupied space. If the target is not a fiend, it must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. Failed save, 10d10 psychic, success half, can't use it until you finish long rest, or you spend a 4th level to use it. So it's basically like a mini banishment sort of thing.